Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all learned this truth from and who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom. Coming to you back with another lesson through the Spirit. And I'm entitled this one, Most of Our People Are Asleep. And who are our people? Going into the Israelites, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the true biblical Israelites that the Bible speaks of, that in the latter days, in these last days of the last days, will be prophesied of those dry bones written about in Revelation chapter 11 and Ezekiel chapter 37. Those dry bones which represent the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but also the Israelites, foreigners that may look like these other heathen nations, but they've been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So you are going to have Israelites coming in all shapes, forms that look like these other heathens, may look like so-called white people, may look like so-called Chinese, so on and so forth. But that great awakening, the bulk of the 12 tribes, is here in America. Because here in America, this is where that great deliverance of the elect, the 1/3, that consists of members of the 144,000 and the rest of the 1/3, the large multitude, that's also scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Also, that great destruction is going to be caused by intercontinental ballistic missiles, to end that Third World War, to end the empire of the so-called white man, which is Esau, Edom. But also where that second death is going to take place here in America, in the land of America, where 2/3 of our people are going to get put to death in, because ultimately they're rebelling against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But really, the Lord already set it up for a majority of our people to not get it. That's why it don't matter how many times you tell them that all hell's about to break loose, that the economy's collapsing. Now at this point, it's evident that America's done. America's through. The economy's through. The dollar's through. You got gold and silver at an all-time high, but yet our people are moving like nothing's going on. Like it's all, good, because gas went down 25 cents, because the price of milk dropped $1. That's what Esau, Edom does to put our people back to sleep. This is Isaiah 29 and verse 9. Stay yourselves in wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. And that's our people, for the most part. 2/3 of our people, they're spiritually asleep, spiritually drunken with the cares of the world, with the distractions, with the mortal thoughts, with their 9 to 5, their job, their career, their family, their wife. Majority of our people, they're not worried about prophecy. They're not worried about getting the hell out of Babylon the Great, America, and wherever Jacob scattered. They're not worried about that. They're worried about what they're about to do for the Super Bowl and what they're about to do this weekend with their, their boo thing. And Eve worried about what she gonna do with her homegirls, what club they going to, what bottle they gonna pop. That's what majority of our people are consumed in, because they weren't given the Spirit. They weren't given the Holy Spirit to understand that we're in very dark and evil times, and it's only gonna ramp up more and more. They're drunken with that Babylonian wine, with that American dream. Verse 10, for the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai had poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and had clothed your eyes, the prophets, and your rulers, the seers hath he covered. So even our people in these churches, in these harlot houses, even our people who know that they're Israelites, in these other Israelite camps that aren't blowing the trumpet, they're not teaching prophecy. Yeah, they're telling Jake about their true heritage, but that's where it stops. They don't tell them that all hell's about to break loose. They don't tell them that this economy is about to collapse and the dollar is about to be done away with. Physical cash, physical currency, and then it's all going to be transferred over to a digital system where it's going to be the MOTB, which is the micro RFID chip, where Esau Edom's going to push it on to the whole world where that hour of temptation comes in. So ultimately, majority of our people, they're not aware of these things. And even those that sold out, these other Israelite camps, they're not taking this serious because they don't really believe Yahweh Bashim El Shai didn't give them the spirit to blow the trumpet to understand what times we're in. Because ultimately Yahweh Bashim El Shai chose majority of the world to not get this truth, to not awaken to the fact that all hell's about to break loose, that ultimately you're going to need divine intervention to make it up out of here. This is Romans chapter 11 and verse 7. And it reads, "What then? Israel had not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded." So only the elect are going to be in the know, measuring the times diligently, being aware of prophecy, knowing, okay, damn, the U.S. just invaded Venezuela. It's only going to lead to the beast, which is the NATO and the EU, hating the whore. The U.S. making enemies out of its own allies, which is going to further prophecy more and more. But our people are looking at these things like it's no importance. Like, okay, the U.S. took over Venezuela, no big deal. Okay, the U.S. took over Greenland and Mexico, no big deal. Our people look at these things like it's no big deal. They're more invested. They're more worried about who's going to play in the Super Bowl and what album, Diddy and Kanye West is going to drop next. This is what our people are consumed in. And even those who are looking for answers, if Yahweh Bashim El Shai don't want them, he's going to give them over to these other religions, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism. And even he may wake up, or he's waking up a lot of our people to the fact that they're Israelites. But Yahweh Bashim El Shai is not going to bring everybody into the 100% truth. Because it says only the election has obtained it, which is the 144,000 and that large multitude, that 1/3 here in America. Verse 8, according as it is written, the Most High had given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see and ears that they should not hear unto this day. So it's those same spirits coming back today, because reincarnation, those same spirits that were told during the time of Jeremiah, the Babylonians are about to, besiege Jerusalem. Jake, it was evident that it was about to happen, but Jake had that denial spirit, denying, that's never gonna happen. Just like in that same spirit that America's never gonna be brought down. Hell no, America being taken out of power, the white man not being the rulership. Our people don't see the white man not ruling the planet Earth. They don't see so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans ruling the planet Earth. But that's because Yahweh Bashim El Shai didn't give them the spirit. He didn't give them the eye salve. He ain't opened up their minds to this truth. This is Isaiah 56 and verse 10. And it reads, his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. And that's majority of our people. Asleep, don't know what the hell is going on. And the watchmen going into these so-called Christians, these Christian pastors, the TD Jakes, and these other Israelite camps, and know that the Israelites, they're not blowing the trumpet. They're not warning the congregation of what's about to come upon the planet Earth. All hell breaking loose. The mass implementation of the MOTB. Verse 11, yeah, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough. They are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter. So, these other Israelite camps, they're so calling the truth, but they're not in the truth because they're not teaching the truth. But they're partaking and being an Israelite for gain, for filthy lucre's sake, so they can get the bag. Letting you know that ultimately Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is not dealing with majority of our people. Not even Israelites that know that they're Israelites. And those are going to get a worse judgment because they know the Lord's will. They, a lot of them sold out. They used to teach the truth, and then they changed up the doctrine. They changed the names. They're no longer teaching the names. Now they're teaching that heathens can make it. So ultimately, even Israelites that know that the Israelites, they don't have the truth. Really, they're just in it for filthy lucre's sake. Verse 12, come ye, say they, I will fetch wine, and we will fill ourselves with strong drink. And tomorrow shall be as this day, and much more abundant. And that's the mindset that majority of our people have. Thinking that, they're going to have another day, and another day, and another day in Babylon, the great America. And wherever Jacob scattered, they're going to continue on. Living like they've been, eating, drinking, giving into marriage. Super Bowl 75. Like, nah, man, this world's about to pass away. But majority of our people, they don't believe in these things. This is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. So looking around, being aware of your surroundings, knowing what times you're in. Because our people, for the most part, the 2/3 of our people, they're not walking circumspectly. They're walking as fools, carelessly, rioting. Don't give a damn what's going on around the world. But that's how Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai wants to be, because he wants them to be like that, so he can catch them like a thief in the night. Verse 16, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Verse 17, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is. And if our people really understood the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, that they would get right. They'll be like, oh, hell no, I gotta stay on point because of everything that's going around, the whole ICE agent situation, going door to door. But our people aren't moving like that. Our people, really, they're waxing worse and worse. Our people are the main ones playing around, cracking jokes, mocking, scoffing, and mocking. Because you have these other heathen nations, these Edomites, and even some of them are people that they're aware of what's going on, but they're not preparing the right way. They're preparing carnally, doomsday prepping. So even those that are in the know that all hell's about to break loose of our people, of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they don't know what the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is. Verse 18, and be not drunk with wine, wherein excess, but be filled with the Spirit. Being drunken off the cares of this world with the worries, all hell's about to break loose. This is Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. And that knowing the time that now it is high time to awake up out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. And only the elect are going to believe that the salvation is nigh, while the rest of our people, they don't even believe that America is going to be destroyed. So why would they believe that salvation is nigh if they don't believe that they're going to have to be saved out of nothing? But that's pretty much the point. I pray that this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem Merkakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who are learning this truth from whom to rule well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000, the rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom.